Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to pretty much put a liner on your bed. We're using the Raptor Tub Protective Coating. This is two-part. It's pretty much an epoxy, and I'm going to be using a sprayer. So you can go ahead and roll it on if you want, but the sprayer will give it a better look. I'm going to put this on a 2017 Silverado, and I'm just going around what you're going to need. So this you might have to buy separately, or you might be able to get a kit where it comes together. I'm gonna go with black. They have different colors, and they might have some that are tintable, so it's up to you. Gonna want a respirator. You're gonna want some discs. So you could use any types of sanding discs. These are professional sanding painter's discs. So if you guys don't know, I'm a painter, so we use this a lot. This is a new type of sanding disc that I'm using, and we'll see how it comes out. It's called Extract by 3M. So this you can use a vacuum sander with, but I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. All right, your girls are gonna need some sanding, some hand sandpaper like this. Right here I'm using 100. You could go 80. It doesn't matter. What you want is to take off your truck coating as pretty much as clean as possible. Get your orbital for your flats, and that should pretty much cover what you're gonna need. Apart from this mask for your PPE, you might want to get some hearing protection, just so you guys don't mess up your ears. Go ahead or you can use your earbuds if you have some. You want to go ahead and use ear protection though, just in case. This will cover your lungs. If you want glasses, go ahead and get some glasses. Other than that, that should cover it. All right, I'm gonna get to the part where we actually start working on the truck. And before I do that, I just want to open it up for you guys and see, so you guys can see what it is. So here we have the parts. Okay, so this would be a full kit, enough for a truck bed. This is the actual color, and this would be the hardener. So this right here should cover these 4 bottles. So you don't want to go ahead and you do not want to mix this with this completely. You want to make sure you have enough for all these 4 bottles here. And here you have your mixing cup, and this is a weenie roll set that they include, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use an air compressor. And I went ahead and looked at the actual I guess size limit for the compressor, and I couldn't find anything on here, so I went online. And your typical 2-gallon, 2.5 or 3-gallon air compressor should be enough. You're probably gonna run out of air midway, but that's fine. I'm not looking for an even coat on my truck, since I'm gonna use it for work either way, so I'm not really too concerned about that. So I'll catch you guys later then. We'll go to the next part. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your orbital with your sanding disc and sand it. You want to get it as smooth as possible, or as clean as possible, I should say, since you're gonna be removing most of the paint. Now, when you go 2 options: either give it a really good sanding, or remove it all the way completely, like I'm doing. There's gonna be certain areas where I'm not gonna go and take the hassle of cleaning it all the way to the bare metal, but it is a good option for you guys if you guys choose to do that. If you choose to go to the bare metal, Raptor Liners does recommend a primer coat. Now I'm not gonna go ahead and put it on, because as I mentioned, this is mainly gonna be for work purposes. So I already know that my truck isn't gonna last, right? The Raptor coating, it's gonna be scratched, painted. It's pretty much gonna have wood, nails go all over it. So I'm not really worried about that. But what you do want is good adhesion. Now, this is where you're going to sand it with that 80 discs. And pretty much what you're going to want to do is clean it as much as possible with the orbital sander before you actually put your hands on it, since most of the actual sanding will be through that. And plus, you don't want to tire your hands out. You know, you're gonna get some muscle aches, because this is gonna be a pretty long project for you guys. It's about maybe 10 hours if you actually do it right the way it's supposed to be. And here you can see I got most of it done. So we're gonna pretty much start hitting it with the 80 sanding hand sandpaper, and we're gonna go through all the areas where the orbital doesn't reach. Now, there's some spots where the orbital could have, but I don't want to, you know, ruin my orbital just to do those certain areas. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the dust that you build up. And here you're gonna see me doing it with the hands. It's pretty simple. Now you're gonna have to do a you're gonna need some elbow grease to do it right. You're gonna see that you're gonna first get the actual sealer, the paint, and then the primer. It's not that difficult, but it is pretty well, it's car paint, it's stuck on well, and this lets you know how actually how durable car paint is. It's pretty rough. People don't believe it because they get their car scratched or whatever, or little things, but this is why you can polish it, because it's really thick. And after that, we're gonna hit it with the vacuum, and you want to vacuum this pretty well, because you want to, after this, we're gonna use acetone. You could also use lacquer thinner, but what you want to do with the vacuum is pretty much remove all the dust and debris you got, since this dust pretty much flies everywhere, which is why I recommend wearing your respirator mask and not your regular dust mask. You got to wear a respirator. Okay. You're going to want to vacuum it all the way completely. Make sure that it's super clean. So when we actually hit it with the acetone and the rags, you don't drag paint particles and dust, because the whole point of this is to have it clean. You completely clean for your Raptor liner. And you want this to last. This is a pretty long project, and you don't want to mess it up just because you skipped a certain area, or you didn't want to clean it all the way completely. So we're gonna keep sanding it, vacuuming it. And for the time being, you guys can see how you got to go through it all, back and forth, hit all the edges. I like to do a cross vacuum as well. And from here, this is what I mentioned, we're going to hit the acetone. Now, acetone is a degreaser. It's also a paint cleaner, and it's also a reducer for certain paints and finishes. So you're going to want to clean it, okay? So what this is going to do is make it so that any grease, any oils, even your finger oils, by the way, because a lot of times your skin has oils that they latch on to the paint and it sticks, so it makes it pretty much impossible for paint to stick on certain areas if once your oil touches the surface you're gonna paint. So you're gonna pretty much wipe it down completely. Okay, if you want to use like 2 or 3 rags for the whole time, do it. I would say give it maybe 2 passes, the whole entire truck, the truck bed. And right here you can see the difference that it makes. It cleans it, and it starts bringing back the color of the paint, because once you sand it, it'll just look gray, like bare metal. But in reality, if you didn't go all the way down, you are gonna still have some color there. And all this is gonna do is just remove any grease, like I mentioned, any dirt and grime. And what this also does, it kind of gives it a chemical etch. Apart from your actual sanding, this is gonna give it another layer of I don't want to say sanding, but an etching. If you don't know, an etching is just like putting acid on a surface. Okay, it'll create little crevices and little scratches for it to stick onto. Okay, and what we're gonna do after that is we're gonna put tape. The reason we're gonna put tape is you don't want this epoxy to get on areas you don't want to. It's really strong and it's gonna dry really quick. So you want to cover everything, or you don't want it to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the edges of the truck bed, and I'm going to line up where the actual truck bed slams against where the actual tailgate slams against the truck bed. I'm going to tape it right here under the that plastic that the edges of the truck has. I'm going to also line it up. Reason being is I don't want this to go under and stick on. For example, if I ever want to take that piece off or maybe replace it, I want to be able to. Okay, and here you can see how I actually set up the house or the spray booth. You want to make sure that you have this covered really well, because like I said, you're gonna get a lot of overspray. It's a really thick material that we're gonna be using, but you get a lot of overspray. Now we're gonna go up to that line right there in that cup and mix per can every 2 minutes. Okay, and you're gonna want a guy mix it for you. And here you can see me adding it on. Now it's pretty simple to use. Okay, I like giving it 2 passes, and you'll see that's what I do. Okay, so I like to go edge to edge so that you don't get any marks. You wanna overlap your mark, your actual spray line, so you get an even coating. And as you can see, it's pretty simple and it covers well, so you don't have to put a bunch of sprays in one area. You want to make sure it's even. Okay, and I'm gonna take out the camera here because, as I told you guys, you get a lot of overspray, and you'll be able to see in the next clip how it kind of fogged up the lens. So I didn't want to go too overboard, but you get the idea. It's pretty simple to spray. It's not complicated, and this is the result. Now, if you have it covered and taped up, I recommend that as soon as maybe 2 or maybe 10 minutes pass, take off the tape on all the edges, because you don't want this to stick on. And I'm going to show you guys how it looks afterwards, and here it is. It came out clean, came out nice. This is still curing, by the way. It takes 5 to 7 days to fully cure. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a durable coating, and I'll catch you guys later. It was a pretty simple process. I bought this material off AutoZone. If you guys want to buy it, you can buy it through Amazon, depending on your state. If not, you will have to go through AutoZone or O'Reilly's or some sort of auto shop that sells this sort of product. Now, I didn't put a primer on, as I mentioned before. If you do want to do it, I recommend then you go ahead to look on their website and see what primer they prefer, and then you could go ahead and spray it on. I'm not using it because, as I mentioned before, this is going to be for work, and this material is pretty strong. This is similar to the stuff they use on yacht floorings. Obviously not the fancy ones, but the commercial ones. And if it lasts there, and you got sea, you got the water, you got the salt, you got the sun, this is gonna last over here on land. So that's pretty much it, guys. As I mentioned before, I'll catch you guys later. If you guys want to buy it, go ahead and buy it. This is the steps. It's a simple process, and I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be happy with the durable bed coating, especially considering a lot of the new trucks now, they don't really offer this sort of service or this sort of product. So it's only gonna take you a couple hours, and you'll have it done. All right, I'll catch you guys later.